Ole Miss went 4-5 last season, tacked on a bowl win to finish 5-5. Did Lane Kiffin live up to the expectations? I'd say so. It was really entertaining. It's fun to watch Rebels football, and those are my expectations. Matt Corral back, Jerry and Ely back, 4 out of 5 offensive linemen back. Listen, losing Elijah Moore hurts because he was awesome, but I will say that I'm just kind of expecting that this high volume offense is just going to allow for opportunities, and they're going to figure out ways to get players open and figure out ways to distribute the ball, including after Kenny Yeboah opted out. I forgot about this. Swag Kelly's little bro coming in at tight end, Casey Kelly. So let's see if Swag Kelly's little bro ends up stepping up. The defensive line couldn't stop the run. The defensive line couldn't rush the passer. Sam Williams is probably your name to know at the linebacker buck position. But in terms of like questions and concerns, I'm really not even I will be surprised if Ole Miss's defensive line takes a great step forward this year. It's not part of my expectations for the Rebels, but that could be disrespecting the Rebel Alliance and all the other Rebels around.
I'm bullish on Ole Miss. I think they're going to be a thorn in the side again. I think their win-loss record improves. I think their quarterback is a dark horse Heisman candidate. I think they cannot get worse on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to get better. I think they pull off some big wins this year. Like I think, like you talk about teams that could play for second in the SEC West. I think it could be Ole Miss.
See, I agree with you in that I feel like Ole Miss can pull off some big wins. I think that if I look at the SEC West and it's like, all right, pick which one of these teams is most likely to beat Alabama, I'm picking Ole Miss just because the offense that they run is the same kind of offense that has always given Alabama problems. So I would put them in that contention. It's just, I also think Ole Miss is fully capable of some big losses as well because of the problems that we've mentioned on defense. And we saw, because like when we were talking about LSU, I talked about how Ole Miss has the most returning production of any team in the division. A lot of that's on defense, but it's kind of a catch-22. It's like, well, okay, we've got nearly the entire defense back. The defense sucked, so I don't know if it's good to have all those guys back, or you'd hope that some of those guys lose their jobs to players who are outperforming them this spring, or you just hope that those guys overperformed. But I'm with you, Chip. My expectations for Ole Miss under Lane Kiffin will always only be just entertain me. And I am fully 100% confident that the Rebels are going to be fun to watch. They might be 6-6. They might be 10-2. They might be 4-8. I don't know, but they're going to be fun.
So my numbers tell me that when Elijah Moore was out of the lineup last year, Matt Corral really struggled, and double that with Kenny Yeboah. But my eyes tell me that Lane Kiffin is so brilliant at scheming guys wide open that, like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to walk myself into saying that Elijah Moore doesn't matter, because he does. Like, he's really good. He was also super reliable catching the football. He had a 1% drop rate. Jonathan Mingo, who they, might be counting on to be their number one this year, or at least their two, had an 11% drop rate. So, like, Elijah Moore, super electric with the ball in his hands, but also, like, the ball got into his hands because he caught the ball really, really well. Yeah. And so I do think they're going to miss Elijah Moore. I mean, maybe Drummond or, Sanders or Jackson can step up there. Maybe Mingo can become more sure-handed, but I'm a little bit worried about what they lose, offensive explosiveness at the skill positions. But my greater concern is defense. You can bring back all the experience in the world, but if you don't have height, weight, speed, I don't really care. Now, you might have fewer blown coverages, right? Ole Miss last year, that was kind of a major issue at times. Some of their run fits were real sketchy. They were 117th in explosive play rate allowed, which is just, that's not great. Their passing completion rate was 124th allowed. They allowed 68% completions, which is just, it's hard to do that on air sometimes. But like, I think Chip nailed it. Got to figure out what the pass rush is in spring. Like, can you find a pass rusher? Because last year they didn't really have anybody who rushed the passer all that effectively. And then how much can Lane Kiffin's scheming overcome the loss of Moore and Kenny Bowe? I think the offensive line will be okay. And I'm interested to see what comes out of this spring, because they were 80th on defense last year. They can probably improve that. Like, they don't have to be good to improve that. Can you get to below average? Can you get from bad to below average? That'd be cool. That'd help.
That's like the Oklahoma move from 115 to 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can
And
make
that's doable.
if you can make that kind of jump, then it can really help your team success.